Hey everyone, this is Jason with MotiveWave. Can I get a quick mic check? Just type yes in the chat if you can hear me. Right on, that looks like a yes. All right, traders, welcome to the webinar on the new strategy builder for MotiveWave with Daniel Sinnig. So I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to attend. Today's presentation will be approximately 45 to 60 minutes. There will be a Q&A section at the end of the presentation. We will also answer a few questions as we go. There should be a Q&A button at the bottom of Zoom where you'll be able to type in your questions. The webinar recording will be posted within 48 hours to the video tutorial section on our website. If you're watching this webinar on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. Before we get into the content, I have to go over a quick disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed here do not necessarily reflect those of MotiveWave. MotiveWave has not approved or verified the content and is not making a recommendation. There is substantial risk of loss in trading commodity futures, options, stocks, equities, indices, cryptocurrencies, and foreign exchange products. Futures and options trading has large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in futures and options markets. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell futures, stocks, or options on the same. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in this presentation. The past performance of any trading system is not necessarily indicative of future results. So we've also posted CFTC Rule 4.41 for you to read. And at this point, I'm going to pass the controls over to Daniel for the main presentation.
All right, thank you, Jason. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Daniel.
Perfect, great. And maybe more importantly, can you also see me? Hi. Perfect. So yes, I'm super excited to be here, and for various reasons. So many of you know me already. I've done, you just looked at the Zoom list of attendees here. I see many familiar names. I see Fernando. Hi, Fernando. How's it going? I see Frank Leitman from Florida somewhere. I saw Manjeet. Yeah, so many familiar names. I'm super happy to that you could make it to this presentation. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So, okay. Share. Let me bring this over. Perfect. And Jason, can you just confirm that you can also see my screen now?
Yeah, Daniel, sorry, I was muted there. Yeah, you're good to go.
Excellent, perfect. So today's topic is the strategy builder for MotiveWave, and we're super excited to present this tool today. Not only is it the first of its kind, so many of you are already MotiveWave users, and you know that there is no way right now to create, without programming, your own custom strategies. So and I'm saying this with a bit of a teary eye, because one of my core business used to be to create custom strategies for clients, for Frank, for Fernando. And this tool now will allow you to skip my work, just do it yourself. And we do this as a service, as an offer, and we hope you all will improve your trading through this brand new tool, the Strategy Builder. Maybe a few words about me. So my name is Daniel Sinnig, and we run an online store called tradingindicators.com. And one of the very first products on our store were products from MotiveWave. In fact, this is how I started to become an algorithmic trader. I wrote my own indicators and my own strategies for MotiveWave starting off. And this is now more than almost 7 or 8 years ago. So a long time, and we've come a long way since the very beginning. All right, so let me go ahead and advance my slide. Oops, there we go. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to start off with a little bit of a background of who we are, who's in our team, and what we do. So I'm going to give you, a little bit of an overview of our story, and then I will discuss what was our motivation to create the strategy builder for MotiveWave. We're going to look at some features, and then we're going to get our hands dirty. We're going to look at the tool itself. I'm going to demo it in depth. I'm going to take my time showing you all the features and how fast it actually will be to create your own custom strategies. And then we're going to create two fairly complex strategies. When I say fairly complex, I mean that they do have sophisticated rules, but you will see that we are able now with the strategy builder to create these strategies very quickly. I'm going to discuss some best practices, how to use it, and we have also a special offer for you at the beginning. All right, but before we talk about the strategy builder, maybe a few more words about us. So we are running tradingindicators.com. And when I say we, this is my colleague Homa, who's here as well. Homa, hi, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thanks, Homa. Homa will be in the chat. And we also have Nicola with us, who is one of the masterminds behind the strategy builder. Hi, Nicola. He will also be in the chat.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi. With us today. And talking about the chat, if you have questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A section of Zoom. And Nicola and Homa will do their best to answer the questions directly in the chat. And if needed, they will interrupt me grossly in the middle of my presentation and bring a question to my attention. All right, so what is our motivation to behind tradingindicators.com? Well, perhaps the motivation lies that we are actually coming from a different background. Both Homa, Nicola, but also myself, we are by training software engineers. And so this is our background, but we also have a passion for trading. So we kind of took the reverse road into the trading world. First, we were software engineers. We had this passion, and we were able to write our own trading indicators and strategies. And in fact, many of our indicators in our store were first developed for our own needs. And then we thought, well, if we find them useful, perhaps they're useful for others as well. And one such tool we will be presenting today, which is the strategy builder. Because it took us a long time, it takes me a long time to write a custom strategy of programming. And we thought, maybe there is a better way to do it. And this is where the strategy builder was born, which will allow you, as you will see, without any programming knowledge, to click together your own custom strategy for MotiveWave. All our products, we try to be a bit different. We can tell by looking at the look and feel of the products, the visualizations that we use. So we try to stand out to give it a little bit of an extra twist in addition of being useful. And this is really the passion that drives us. Our team is versatile. We have a UX designer on board. We have an algo trader. We have programmers and so forth. So, and of course, many of you already know me. And yeah, so this is our passion. And I'm always excited to work on new products. All right, so let's get started. What was the motivation behind the strategy builder? So just imagine, what if you could create a strategy idea without any programming skills? Wouldn't that be cool? So far, you had to hire me or somebody else to create it. But now, hopefully, with the strategy builder, you can do it yourself in just a few clicks. What if I could build my own advanced trade management? So MotiveWave already has some ATM, advanced trade management built in. I often get requests to add new features to it, to have a customization being done. While with the strategy builder, this can become a reality now. What if you could find out how well an indicator really works? So far, typically it's guesswork. You may have a brand new indicator which you got from a third-party site, perhaps, and you might be skeptical. Does it really work? It might look good at first glance, but does it perform in the long run? Now you have a way to quantify this. What you can do is to wrap the indicator within a strategy using our strategy builder, and then just run it through the replay mode in MotiveWave for an in-depth analysis of the performance. Yeah, and what if I could, or if you could, click together a strategy in less than 5 minutes? And I'm going to take up this challenge today, where we're going to develop two fairly complex strategies in more or less 5 minutes each, so very fast. All right, so all these 4 points were the main motivation behind creating the tool which we will be presenting today, which is the strategy builder for MotiveWave. It's one of a kind, as far as I know, and I confirmed this with Jason and Tony from MotiveWave before this talk. It's the first one for MotiveWave. It doesn't exist yet. Yeah, we were very creative. It's by far our most complex and advanced product that we have published so far for MotiveWave, and it really pushes the limits of what is possible right now with MotiveWave. And you will see this in a second of what kind of options you will have to customize this tool. And this the strategy builder works best with MotiveWave editions that support indicators on indicators. We'll say what that means in just a bit. So it will work with other editions as well, but you will get most out of it if your MotiveWave edition supports this feature. I believe right now that's the pro version of MotiveWave or higher. All right. Okay, so that's the strategy builder. And just a few more words about what we've integrated into this tool. So as mentioned, you can create your own custom strategies based on various factors. This could be indicators on the chart. This could be certain timing conditions. For example, I want to go long after, I don't know, 9:45 a.m. and close my position at 12 p.m. at noon. It could be based on your current account position. For example, you're already long and want to scale out of a position step by step, and many other factors. So every rule that we've built into the strategy builder can be or consists of 2 items. We have what we call a trading plan, which are the conditions which need to come true to for a trade or an exit to happen. And then we have an action associated with it. An action could be go long, for example, at market, or go short, or perhaps exit a long or short position or any position. Yeah, and we have various options to write fairly complex strategies. It is fully customizable, and you can create, as we will see, fairly complex strategies very fast. For example, strategies which allow scaling into a position or scaling out from a position in multiple steps. You can define multiple profit targets, multiple stop losses, and so forth. All right. What I find so useful with this tool, and I've used it, in fact, internally for this purpose, is to prototype my own trading ideas very fast. So even though I know, or we know as our team, how to program it in Java and using the MotiveWave API, it still took a long time. It's complex. It definitely takes more than 5 minutes. It takes probably an hour to, even write a simple strategy in code. Now with this strategy builder, I can test out ideas in under 5 minutes. So clicking together a strategy is super fast. And even if it turns out that this strategy, did not work out or did not perform as I wanted, at least I was able to get this insight within 5 minutes instead of, spending 2 hours programming. And perhaps from your point of view, if you do not know how to program, what you would need to do to try out a strategy, again, is to reach out to a programmer, perhaps our team, to have it implemented, which costs money, and then you only realize, this idea perhaps was not the best. But now you're in a position with the strategy builder to try out your own ideas yourself. It's going to save you time, and more importantly, it's going to save you money. Another feature that we built in, of course, is that you are able to save and load your strategies. So it would not be cool if you always had to recreate it from scratch. Therefore, we integrate a feature to save your configuration to file. That we can load it up at a later time, perhaps modify it or reapply it to a different symbol. All right. So we have lots of cool features, and I'm not going to go through this entire table, but we do have global settings built into the strategy builder, which allow you when to get into a position. Is it intro bar, or is it at the end of the bar or the open of the bar? How many entries would you support per direction? For example, supporting prayer meeting where you scale into a position. You can define up to 10 different entry and exit rules to allow you to define very complex strategies. You have up to 20 profit and stop loss plans. Stop losses and take profits can be defined in various ways based on the number of ticks gained or lost, the dollar amount gained, a percentage, and so forth. And of course, you have different entry types, order size, order type, and so forth. All right, so, but enough theory, I think. Let's look at the tool. All right, so let's see it in action. So I'm going to switch over to MotiveWave. All right, and this is a simple chart of Apple 5 minutes. And I've applied 2 indicators or 2 studies onto this chart: a fast MA, which is an SMA 20, which is the green line here, and a slower MA, which is the SMA 50. And just to start off, just to do something really quick hands-on, we're going to create a strategy with the strategy builder, which simply goes long. Let me just find a position here. It goes long when the MA cross, or the green MA crosses above the red one, the fast SMA crosses above the slow one, and we go short or reverse the position when the green one crosses below the red one. It's a classic strategy. It already exists probably in MotiveWave, but I'm going to show you how to recreate this strategy using the strategy builder. So all you need to do, you will go to the main menu, you open up strategy, you go down to our trading indicators folder and open up the strategy builder. All right, so in here now you have the first choice to make. You can either create a brand new strategy, or if you already have one saved, you can load an existing strategy. In our case, we are going to create a brand new one. So we're going to call it MA Cross. And you will also specify where the strategy should be saved. So I'm just going to save it, I guess, in my documents. You can pick a folder. I picked a folder here, Strategy Builder. I'm going to select it. And so that's for the global settings, or for the welcome dialog. Now in the global settings, I can define, okay, when do I want to enter or exit my position. In this case, we're going to do it on bar close. So when the bar is closed and we had an MA cross, we either go long or short. And 1 entry per direction is just fine. Okay, we move on, and we go to our trading plans. So if you remember, I said the trading plan is really where you define the logic of your strategy. And in the strategy builder, you have the option to define up to 10 different trading plans simply by clicking on the plus sign here or the minus sign. All right, so we're going to start with our first plan, and every plan consists of 2 parts. On the left-hand side of this arrow here, these are the conditions that need to come true for something to happen. On the right-hand side, we define what should be happen if these conditions come true. We call this actions. So in our case, just to give you a little bit of an intuition how this works, we want to go long, this would be our option, when the fast MA crosses above, we can see it here, crosses above the slow one. So this condition, in fact, is based on the indicators which are currently already on the chart. We call these plot conditions because that's based on something that's on the chart. In contrast to account conditions, for example, which is not on the chart. So something that's intrinsic to your account, but not necessarily to your chart. So in this case, it's a plot condition. So we click on plots. This will open up a new window. And here you can now define up to 5 different plot conditions. So we're going to enable the first one. And we're only going to need 1 in this case. And we're going to say when the fast MA, the SMA C20, that's the period here. So it's the fast MA, crosses above, and we have different options here, which I'll discuss a bit later, but crosses above the slow MA on the chart, which happens to be the SMA C50, then something should happen. Okay, so that's our condition for going long, but we haven't defined yet that we actually want to go long. You may also do something else in this case, but in this case, we actually do want to go long. So we click on actions here. Again, this will open up a new window, and we now specify in the entry tab that we want to go long. Entry type is long. Let's see with default trade lot, it doesn't matter. You can also specify the trade size explicitly here. For example, or I want to go long maybe 100 shares of Apple. I'm going to revisit this in a bit. and I want to go long at market. Currently, limit and stop orders are blanked out. I will discuss a bit later why this is the case. All right, and that's it. That's our first condition implemented for this very simple strategy. So go long whenever the fast MA crosses above the slow MA. So now we're going to do the same thing for the short side. So we're going to add a second plan. So plan number 1 was to go long. Plan number 2 is to go short. And guess what? We're going to go short when the fast MA, the SMA C20, crosses below, okay, our slow MA, the SMA C50. And in this case, we are going to enter short the market. And just a quick side note, if we are already long and a short signal comes up, then the position is reversed. This is how our how the strategy builder is coded. Okay, and again, let's say we're going to go short 100 shares in this case. So now this basically already concludes this very first strategy. We're done with this one. So we can say create. All right. So once we say create, you have this little strategy dialogue in the left-hand corner. And for those of you who've already used built-in strategies of MotiveWave, they know what this is. This is a little tool where you can activate or deactivate your strategy. Whether this is a strategy that's built into MotiveWave, whether it's a custom coded strategy, or whether this is a strategy built by the strategy builder, they will all show up in this little window on the left-hand side. All right, so let's test it out. In MotiveWave, and if you do not know this yet, there's an awesome feature built in, which is called the replay mode. It allows you to simulate your strategy based on historical market data. Okay, so let's try this. So I'm gonna go back in time. So I just clicked on this rewind button. So I went back in time to September 27 on this 5-minute chart. And let me just quickly check one thing, because I'm gonna disable generate text just to make it a bit faster, because we do not have that much time. So I'm gonna go back in time. I'm gonna say activate, and now you can use these buttons here to step forward in time. So you can either click here to advance 1 bar at a time. As you can see here, I don't know if you heard this, I did hear it already. We already entered a position here. Oh, haha. It's not shown, but we did enter here. Just don't know why it doesn't show. It might be a Zoom thing. Hang on 1 second, please. I'm just step further. We are short when this cross happens. So we are short 100 shares. And there we see it. Now we can see it. Yeah, if it's a little bit distorted, this is because of the Zoom screen sharing. But if I go to full screen mode, you can see that we did go short at this point where the fast MA crossed below the slow one, or 100 shares. Then we reversed the position here exactly when the opposite happened, when the fast MA crossed above the short one. Here we reversed again, and so forth. So you can see already, wow, this strategy already works. And how long did it take us? If I didn't talk so much, probably less than 2 minutes to create it. One quick side remark before I move on. So I already said you can test the strategy in replay mode. And this is typically what I do first. But this is a fully functional strategy, which can be used in live trading as well. There's no problem whatsoever. Of course, it will take much longer to run a couple of test cases. But it is a fully functional strategy which can be used in live markets, on demo accounts, and live accounts if you desire to do so. Okay. All right. So this was our very first strategy built with the strategy builder.
Daniel, I have a few questions.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have one here. Arthur wants to know if we can use this for options trading.
If you have a price chart with options data, then yes. If you do options trading through one of the other trade panels in MotiveWave, then this would not work. But if you have a price chart of option data, yeah, there's no problem. In fact, it doesn't matter what the underlying instrument is. In this case, it's Apple on the 5 minutes. But this strategy builder can be used with any asset class which is displayed on the chart. So Forex, crypto, if you have it, futures, stocks, and so forth.
Okay, perfect. You actually just answered the next question Philip wanted to know on Forex. So I guess the answer is yes. And we have a question here. Should I have any concerns about privacy using the strategy builder? How secure is my intellectual property and proprietary strategies?
Yeah, good point. So you should not be worried about this because everything is saved on your local machine. There's nothing transmitted. I don't even have any knowledge who's using it or what's going on. So no worries about that. Everything stays local on your machine.
Okay, let's just do one more and then we'll leave the rest for later. Scott wants to know if this will be available for NinjaTrader or Wealth Charts. Is that a possibility in the future?
This tool is specific to MotiveWave, and currently we do not have any intentions to rebuild it for other platforms.
Perfect. Thanks, Daniel.
Great. Awesome. All right. Okay, I'm just going to stay just a little bit longer on this very simple strategy, just to give you a bit of more, a hint what else can be done with the strategy builder. So far, we've used, entry rules where the fast MA crosses below the slow one to enter short and vice versa for long, which is already a fully functional strategy, but let's extend it just a bit more. Okay, so let's go back to our settings by clicking on this little pencil here. And we're not going to add any new trade plans, but I'm going to add a stop loss and a profit target to it. Because sometimes it may take quite a while until the market reverses, and you may want to book some profits before this happen. Or if the market goes against you, you don't want to wait until the MAs cross again to close out your position. So this can be handled by defining stops and targets. And this is fairly straightforward as well. So I went to the stops and targets tab here. And on the upper half, you can define your targets. You can define up to 20 different targets if you wish to, simply by clicking on these plus and minus signs, as I've done. If they move over a little bit, then you just have to drag this window to make them visible again. In this case, we're only going to have two targets, one target for our long position. And in fact, one important thing to note about stops and targets are that they are always associated with a trading plan. So in this case, our long position is trading plan 1. That was the first rule that we defined. And let's say here, maybe we want to take profit if we are up 100 ticks. So that's not much. 100 ticks is just $1 in Apple. So not much. And we're going to close out our total account position. So if we're up $1, why not? Let's go flat. So for the long position, we're going to do the same thing for the short position, which is our trading plan 2. So I'm going to use trading plan 2 here. I'm going to say maybe for short, I want to close out or go out already when I'm down 50 cents. So I don't want to wait that long because there's an upside bias perhaps with Apple. All right, again, I'm going to close out my entire account position, but we have different options what you would like to close out. For example, we're going to look at this just a bit later. You could close out a partial position just to scale out a little bit and leave the remaining position open until eventually the market reverses. That's possible too. So I'm going to say, okay, for booking profits, and perhaps the same thing for our stops. So if the market goes against us, let's also close out our position. Perhaps when we're down maybe 200 ticks, which is $2. There's quite a bit on a 5-minute chart. We're going to close out our entire position for the long side, and the same thing for the short side. So plan 2, perhaps in this case, maybe 100 ticks, and we close out our entire account position. All right, so that's it. Now we have also added a stop loss and a profit target to our strategy. We click update, and we can now rerun our strategy. So it's going to go back here in time. So went back in replay mode. I now click on activate again, and I rerun the strategy. Oh, and let me just have a quick look what's happening here. Okay, let's just zoom in a little bit more because it went really fast. So here, for example, so here we went short. So you can see here, because we had this crossover. And then here, we closed at our position in profit, because that was our profit target hit. There was no crossover here. It's a bit hard to see, but you have just to believe me that this is our profit target kicking in. And why is that? Well, because in our strategy builder and the rules, we said we want to book profits if a certain number of pips has been reached in profit. And then we closed out the position accordingly at that point. And we went flat at this point here. All right. So far, so good. Any questions, Homer? Or should we move on with something more complex, more fun?
I have a couple questions here. Does this software work for swing traders, from Kenneth?
Yes, anything you want. It's completely up to you on what kind of logic or what kind of time frame you would like to apply this strategy on. Yeah, this could be on, we could run this on a daily time frame, no problem. Of course, then you just have to keep MotiveWave open for a long time. But at the minimum, you can define your swing trading strategy and run it through the replayer in MotiveWave to see how well it works. Yeah.
Perfect. Henry wants to know if you can create custom indicators.
No. So you cannot create custom indicators with this tool, but, and we're going to show this a bit later today, you can build strategies based on custom indicators. So we're not limited to indicators which are built into MotiveWave. It can be based on a custom indicator, which you perhaps got from a third-party site.
Okay, perfect. And then one last question. Will this give you data analysis on the back testing?
It will.
As in the higher profitable times of the day?
Well, I'm going to discuss this just a bit later, so please hold on with this one. I'm going to show you how you can do an analysis on the performance of the strategy.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Great. All right. So let me go back to my slides for just a bit, if I can find them. All right, here they are. So we did the demo. Now, let's do something cool. Let's create some real strategies together. Not that this strategy, which I just showed, wasn't real. It created trades, but let's do something more fun, a bit more sophisticated, just to show you what's possible with the strategy builder. So we thought, well, let's create as our first real strategy, I'm going to call this strategy number 1, a stop and reverse strategy based on an EMA crossing above or below a VWAP. So for quite similar to what I just said, or what I've just shown in the with the SMA crossover, we're going to make it a bit more sophisticated. So our trade entries can only happen between 10 a.m. and noon, 12 p.m. This is always Eastern because it's our market time. We're going to close out a losing position at 1 p.m. So if we're in a trade and it's 1 p.m. and we're negative, we have some unrealized loss, then we're going to close at the position at that point. And since this is a day trading strategy, just for the fun of it, we're going to close out any position, profitable or losing, at 3:30 p.m. All right, so a bit more elaborate. Let's do it with the strategy builder. And I'm going to challenge myself again, if I don't talk too much, to do this in less than 5 minutes. Let's get to work. All right, so back to MotiveWave. I'm just going to open up a different chart just because, oops, sorry, 1 second. So I have to deactivate this first. Now I'm going to close this existing strategy. We do not need it anymore. And I'm going to open up Netflix. All right. It's going to be Netflix, and we're going to open this up on the 1 minute chart. I'm just going to delete this indicator because we want to start from scratch. Of course, I prepared it a little bit before. All right, so we have a blank chart, and step number 1, and this is typically how you approach your custom strategy project, is to add the indicators that you want the strategy to be based onto the chart. So in this case, if you remember, we had an EMA, exponential moving average. Let's make it a period of 10. All right, let me just make this a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. All right. Okay, that's our EMA. And we're gonna add a VWAP to it. And both are built-in indicators that come with MotiveWave. So the volume weighted average price. I'm gonna leave the standard settings. Just gonna make it a little bit thicker so it's easier to see, but nothing else will change. And we're gonna also add it to the chart. And it's a classic VWAP, which resets at the beginning of the trading day, as you can see here. All right, so we have our indicators on the chart, and now let's build the strategy. So again, we go up to strategy here. We're going to go to trading indicators, strategy builder. We are creating a new strategy. I'm going to call it the VWAP strategy, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can pick a good, better name if you want. And as the location to save this, I'm going to pick again our strategy builder folder, so we do not lose any work and can continue with this. In the global settings, we're going to leave, we're going to do the calculation at bar close, so we don't want any intra-bar entries, and we move on to our trading plans. Okay, so let's recall, what were our entry rules? Let's think. So our first rule was that the EMA, the yellow line, the yellow line needs to cross the blue line. If it crosses above the blue line, we might go long, and below we might go short. I say might because we also had some timing conditions associated with the strategy. So, but first let's do the plot conditions. To go long, we require that the that the EMA, our EMA, crosses above our VWAP line. This is this plot here. All right, crosses above the VWAP. That's our first condition. And we also had a timing condition. Remember, we only wanted to enter long if the bar time is between 10 a.m. and noon. It's very easy to do. You're going to select this, this timing condition row. We're going to say bar time starts at or after 10 a.m. Oops. And for the latest trading time, bar time ends at or before, again, on 12 p.m. All right, and that's it. Just for the sake of completeness, you could also specify on which trading days up here you would like to trade the strategy. By enabling this and pick this trading days you'd like to trade, or the trading days that you would not like to trade. So you can go both ways. But in our case, this is not required. Okay, so that was our first condition. And as an action, just like before, we're going long at market. And I'm going to leave the default lot size here. All right, that's for going long. Now for going short, we're going to do the same thing. But in this case, our EMA will cross below, again, our VWAP. And it's going to be the same time condition. Okay, bar time starts at or after 10 a.m. All right. And bar time ends at or before noon. Okay, so these were our two conditions for entering long, in this case, entering short. But we also had some conditions for exiting this trade. So we said, if you remember, that if we are in a losing position and it's 1 p.m., we're going to close out the position. It's not working out. Let's just get out of it. So how can we specify this? Well, we're going to add a new plan to the strategy builder, clicking on the plus sign. In this case, it's really just the timing condition. Well, actually, it's both an account condition, because we have to know whether we are in a losing position or not. And then it's a timing condition. Sorry. So we're going to start with the account condition. And we're going to say, well, if we are in a losing position, that means if our unrealized profit, which you can pick here, is less than, as you can imagine, 0, well, then we are in a losing position. And if our time is 1 p.m. or later, all right, so it's army time, so 1300 hours, which is 1 p.m., then we want to exit our strategy. So in actions, you can also specify exits. Here we're going to say we're going to exit any position that we're having, could be a long position or a short position, as long as it's negative. So any position, short or long, and with the default trade lots that we've chosen at market. So perfect. That's our first exit condition. And we also had a second exit condition, which said, well, we're going to exit any position, profitable or not profitable, at the end of the trading day at 3:30 p.m. So I'm going to add one more plan. Again, it's going to be a timing condition. So if our bar time is at 3:30, 15:30 or later, then we're going to exit any of our positions, no matter if it's a profitable position or not, just to go flat until the end of the day. All right, so and that's it. Strategy is created. We can say create here, and it's again it's loaded to the chart. And let me run it through the replayer and see what happens. I'm going to stop it if something happens. So stop here. Here we had an entry. So you can see here, it happened at 10:09. We had the crossover at 10:09, or 10:08, which was good because that's in our trade window between 10 a.m. and noon. Okay. And we continue, and let me just wait for a little bit. What's happening? All right, we are in profit, and you will see. So we are in profit. We were in profit at 1 p.m. too. That's why we didn't exit anything there. But now it hit, let's look at the bottom of the screen. It hit 3:31 p.m. That's our close out time for any position. As you can see here, we closed out the position at that time. All right. And of course, we only trade one share. That's why the profit is so small, but nothing will stop you from trading a higher quantity. Okay, so let's move on. Here we have a short position, went short. Again, we are in profit, and let's see what's happening. Again, a good day. We closed out at the end of the day. Let me just see if I can find something. Here we had no action. Oh, we went short here, and oh, stop. Okay, so here we went short at around 11:46, and you can see here we probably were slightly, well, by 12 cents, as you can see here, slightly negative. That's why at 1 p.m. we closed at the position, because we actually had an unrealized profit, as you can see here, of 12 cents at that point. So we did close out the position and so forth. So let me just run this just a bit further. I'll see if you have some other interesting cases. So there are some days sometimes where we do not enter at all, because the crossovers do not happen in our trading window. That's possible. But let me just run this till the end. Bear with me just for a little bit, because I do want to show you how you can look at the trade report at the end. So let's wait until MotiveWave finishes this strategy. As you can see, it works quite nicely. Of course, no guarantees it will work all the time, but for this symbol for Netflix on the 1 minute, it seems like a pretty cool strategy. So where are we now? We are October 4, almost at today's day. And sometimes, as you can see here, we're not going to have any trade because the crossover happened before our trading window started. And that's also normal. Of course, you could change this easily by changing the parameters in the strategy. All right. One more here, and we're almost there. So bear with me for just a few more seconds. Closed out around 1 p.m. with a small loss of 7 cents in this case. And now this is today's date now, October 7. And see if we had any trades today. No cross, almost a cross, but no cross. So, and this was too late. This was slightly after our trading window. And we're now going till the end of the day, and the replay will stop. Now, one thing I really wanted to point out is how can I actually look at the performance of the strategy run? So you do see the P&L here, but that's pretty much all you see. But there's something, there's more insight that you can get. So you can go to the account tab at the bottom. All right. And here you can generate an entire trade report for this trade run. All you need to do under account, you will pick the replay mode, replay 1. All right. And click on generate report. This will now list all kinds of statistics about your report. How many winning trades did I have? How many losing trades? What was my profit factor for this short period of time? It was a staggering 8.5, which is amazing. But of course, it was only for a short period of time. How much net profit did I gain on the long side, on the short side, and so forth. You can also look at some graphics on which days were more profitable and all kinds of things. So I'll let you guys play around with it if you desire to do so. Okay, so any questions, Homa?
Yeah, I have a few here. Matt wants to know if the strategy builder will work with combined signals based on 2 charts. Example, a tick chart and a Renko chart.
On 2, so if you have 2 strategies, one running on Renko and one on tick, perhaps that's interesting, and I don't know. I would need to think it through. So far, we designed it to run on one chart, and whatever is applied to that chart.
I just want to make sure that I asked the question correctly. So he elaborated. So he said that he trades strategies that combine signals based on indicators on 2 chart types of the same underlying, a tick chart and a Renko. So basically both need to be true for a trading signal to generate.
I'm not sure. I am maybe, but I need to think it through. I never tried it out in that scenario.
Matt, could you send us an email at info@tradingindicators.com? So we'll make sure to answer that after we investigate.
Yeah.
Okay. Shane wants to know, can you set up trailing stops?
Not yet, but this is a feature which will come soon, and we're going to discuss about our future plans in just a bit. Mm-hmm. Good point. For sure, it's on our horizon, which will come soon.
Larry, so this is Larry C, because we have Larry B as well. Larry C wants to know, so he wasn't convinced about our short example that you did, and he says that the trading bar was way below the crossover. I wanted to know if you wanted to comment on that, Dan.
I'm not sure what you saw, but because the condition was that the MAs need to cross and not price needs to cross the MA. So I think it was valid. I didn't see any issue there. But if we don't have time to revisit, unfortunately, but I think I'm pretty confident it was correct. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Daniel.
Okay, guys. So I am running a little bit out of time because I guess I took a little bit more than 5 minutes. But we do have a second strategy prepared, and maybe I'm just going to talk to it based on the slide, and you have to take my word for it. Hopefully that's okay. But what I really wanted to show in this strategy is that the strategy builder, and you can believe me, it is the case, will work with custom strategies. When I say custom, with custom studies. When I say custom study, I mean a study which is not already built into MotiveWave. This could be a study from a third-party vendor, like us, for example, or somebody else, or perhaps a study which you have created on your own. And the answer is yes, absolutely. So this strategy builder will work on custom studies, which perhaps will give you custom signals, like entry signals, just like this one here, where you may have an arrow for a sell entry, or perhaps an up arrow for a buy entry. And you can use the conditions in the strategy builder to trigger trades based on these arrows as well, as long as they're exposed in the data window of MotiveWave. And the strategy idea that we had here was to create a simple strategy for the S&P E-mini futures for the 5-minute short, which would enter short when our volatility correction, that's the underlying indicator here, gives you a short entry signal. And then we go out with 2 profit targets. Profit target 1 was at 25 ticks, which is roughly $2 in the E-minis, and 1 was at 50 ticks. And you can see it here. So we entered short, for example, for a sell signal, and we took profit here. So we went short 2 contracts. We took out our first contract. Of course, this can be customized at profit target 1, and then we closed out the final position at profit target 2. So this works, just as well. And perhaps I can go through the strategy a bit more detail if there's time towards the end. because there's one last thing or two more things which I really would like to point out in this presentation. The first one is there's a recommended workflow how to create your new strategies. And we've tried to summarize this workflow in this diagram. So first, you will add your desired studies to the chart. We've already done this in both of the examples I've shown. So we're adding these indicators to the chart. But of course, you do not always want to add all these studies manually. So it is recommended, once you've added them to the chart, to actually save them to a template. And that's very easy in MotiveWave. All you need to do, if you go to a chart, you can do a right click on the chart and go to templates, and you can save your current settings as a template on the chart. Because once you do this, then you can just easily reopen the template and reapply these indicators. So that's step number 2. Then you go to the strategy builder, you open it up, you create your strategy, of course, make sure you name and save it into a folder which you desire. And once you've given it a name, then any change you make to the strategy will be auto-saved. So you play around with it. You do not have to save it again. In fact, there's not even a save button because it's automatically saved. You don't have to worry about it. And then once you've created a strategy, of course, you can use it in replay mode, but also in live mode. As I mentioned before, these are fully functional strategies. They will work both in replay and live mode. Now, so this is for creating a brand new strategy. If you already have one, what would be the workflow here? Well, you would load first the study template, which you'd saved in creating it, so which will add the indicators to your chart. Then you open the strategy builder. Then you will choose the load existing strategy option. And you click create. And then you can go back into these settings to modify, if you want to, this is optional, of course, to modify any of the rules, entry rules or exit rules. And then again, you can use the strategy in replay or live mode. Of course, you do not have to change anything. If you're happy with it and would just like to reapply it to a different symbol, perhaps, or a different time frame, you can skip to the use step right away. All right. Okay, so having this set, are there any more questions, Homa?
Yeah, so I'm just going through this. Some folks want to know about limit and auto trailing orders.
I'm going to discuss this in just 1 second. Yeah, I'm coming. I have not forgotten about this.
And the other one from Peter is, are multiple symbols supported?
No, because right now you have to apply your strategy to one chart and it's running on that particular chart. So no, this is not supported.
That's it for now. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay, great questions. And this brings me to the last point of this presentation. And I think this is perhaps one of the most important ones. I mentioned early on that this is by far the most complex product that we've built for MotiveWave. It's been months or almost a year in the making. And we're close now to having a refined and fully functional product, but we're not quite there yet. And we thought, instead of trying to invent all the features that might be useful for traders by ourselves, we're going to do a different approach. We're going to reach out to our community, to you guys, to get feedback, what kind of features you would like to see in the strategy builder. It is pretty built the way it is right now, but of course we can always improve it. And there's some features which are still missing. This is why currently our strategy builder is still in beta mode. Okay, so a couple of things are missing. They're going to be added. Some of them will be added very soon. We're talking about a couple of weeks now. For example, pending orders. So limit orders and stop loss orders, native limit orders and stop loss orders, which are sent to the broker, will be a feature which we add in the next couple of weeks. A trading stop, it's a feature which is already in our backlog, will be added in the next couple of weeks. But I can imagine there's so many other features that perhaps you guys would find useful, and we'd like to listen to you guys what you think could be a new feature or a good feature to be added to the strategy builder. This is why
Daniel, sorry to interject,
Yeah.
but just wanted to talk about, so we've done this for another non-MotiveWave product, and it's been really successful, and that's why we decided to try this for the strategy builder. And it's not just about adding new features or enhancements, but also possible improvements. So anything, any sort of feedback that you'd like to give us. And with this beta tester package, we have different ways that you can give that feedback to us. So I'll let Daniel go through that.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Homa. So first of all, we're going to offer this beta tester package at a good deal, a very good deal. You're going to get 50% off, and this is for unlimited access. So this not only includes the beta version, which you would get today, but also the future refined, fully functional version with all the features built in, which we are envisioning. Secondly, that's no more fees. There's a one-time payment. And more importantly, you will have a word in the future direction of the strategy builder. You can make your desires heard by voicing your feedback, by sending us an email. We're even going to have live webinars for beta testers where we can go through new features. We can look at them together, or we will look at them together. We're going to get some more feedback and try things out and see if you're on the right path and so forth. So your voice will be heard if you are part of our beta tester community. So not just for finding any bugs or something that might not be ideal right now, but also for future features that you would like to see in the strategy builder. You will be communicating directly with either me or Homo or Nicola or anybody else on our team. This will be by email. This can be sometimes by Skype or a direct phone conversation, or many times it will be by a live session, which we will be hosting every once in a while, whenever we have something new to show. And then we're going to demo the new version to you. Of course, you will also receive it so you can play around it by yourself, but we will teach you also how to use the new features. We're going to walk you through. And in fact, our next live session, I believe, is already planned for in about 2 weeks from now. I think there's a date coming up later on the slide. So if you decide to sign up for this beta tester package, of course, you're going to get access within 24 hours. Typically, it's even faster. And yeah, the next session is on October 21st, so in roughly 2 weeks from now. And I'm going to offer this at a highly discounted price because our intent is to get as much feedback or useful feedback from you guys as possible. And so as a reward to you guys, you're going to get the strategy builder at $349, which is half the price it will cost once it is built. So if you're interested, and all you need to do is to go to our website, which is tradingindicators.com, and then go /strategy. Homa, perhaps you can also put this into the chat. So tradingindicators.com/strategy. There you will see the product page for the beta version of the strategy tester. And we will limit beta access to the first 20 users. So once the spots are filled, that's all we need. Then this sale will be closed. So don't wait too long. If you're interested in becoming a beta tester, if you want your voice to be heard, go to tradingindicators.com/strategy and sign up for this beta testing package. Homa, are there any questions?
No, I actually think we're done. I know Nicola is answering a few more. Let me just give me 1 second. Can you place limit orders?
Yeah, in this current version, which I just demoed, and if you buy it today, you will not be able to place it. It is already scheduled to be released as a new feature for beta users in about 2 weeks' time. So not yet, but it's coming. And as I mentioned, if you're a beta user, you will get access to all new versions. You don't have to wait until it's finally all built up. That's going to be intermediate versions, which we will distribute only to you. And one of the first features that we will support is limit orders and native stop orders, and also a trailing stop.
Saibal wants to know what version of MotiveWave do we need to use?
Yeah, good point. So in theory, you can use any version, but if you want to use plot conditions, remember when like an MA crosses above another MA, then you need a feature which MotiveWave calls indicator on indicator. That version or that feature is currently available in the Pro version of MotiveWave or above. So Pro or above for all the, if you want to use all the features of the strategy builder.
Terry wants to know, would I be able to use another window in MotiveWave without any strategy running and do my normal technical analysis without interfering with the strategy execution?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, let's go through a few more of these. Okay, Malcolm wants to know, he's saying that he uses 2 time frames on a chart in his strategy. Can it handle this?
As long as they are exposed as indicators on the chart, so if whatever indicator you're using, they're based on these 2 time frames, the strategy can leverage this. Mm-hmm. It needs to be available through an indicator.
Okay, I'm gonna take maybe 1 or 2 more questions because I think we're done after that, right, Daniel? Or do you have any other material?
Well, as always, I was too hopeful. Maybe I talked too much. I don't know. I wanted to show the volatility crusher strategy, but you know what? If you're a beta user, I'm going to demo it in the next beta testing session on October 21st.
Okay, there's a couple more questions and we'll take those. And then if we miss anybody, guys, make sure you email us. We're always happy to answer. Kai wants to know, he says, I have toss trading scans and use review of several charts to do the strategy. Anything about toss trading scans with this, or?
I'm not sure what you mean by this. Maybe you, if you use toss, you cannot use this strategy builder because it's from MotiveWave. But I think what you might refer to is our toss package, which we created for MotiveWave. And then, yeah, so all these indicators in there, they will be compatible with the strategy builder.
Alice wants to know, how does this compare to Bloodhound, the Bloodhound add-on on NT8?
It's similar. Yeah. If you know Bloodhound, this is going to be similar. Yeah. As a similar
Daniel.
intent. Yes, Nicola?
Do you know anything about AlgoX? I had a similar question, how this compares to AlgoX.
I don't. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, we do not know all trading tools, but please send us an email at info@tradingindicators.com, and we typically reply super fast. There's also a contact form on our homepage. So we'll be happy to answer or to research this for you.
Okay, and Daniel wants to know, and I think you already answered this, but I'll ask it again. Any plans to modify so that this can be used to create a new custom indicator?
No, it's not that we don't want to. It's just a whole different ballpark. So you need to take my word for it. At this point, it is not possible, not feasible, at least for us, to do so. For various reasons. So unfortunately, this is not something which will come soon.
Okay, I think we're good, Daniel. Any other questions? If we missed them or ran out of time, please email us at info@tradingindicators.com. I'm going to put the email address in the chat box, and I'll put the link to the offer in the chat box as well.
Great. Thank you, Homa. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us and spending your evening with me. So I'm really honored, and I hope you find this strategy builder useful. And yeah, we're looking forward to your feedback and perhaps welcome you as one of our beta users. Jason, do you want to say something at the end, or is that?
No, just thanks everybody for taking your time out of the day to join us, and thanks Daniel for the presentation. That was great, and Homa and Nicholas, thanks for answering questions. So everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.